more about the man and his grandson killed in an early morning house fire. Good evening, I'm Danielle Malagary. Chris and Ashley have the night off. Brenda Robledo talked to neighbors on Tradewinds Road near Lake Wichita Park today. She joins us now live. And Brenda, one says her husband tried to help by breaking the door of the burning home.
That's right, Danielle. I'm in front of the house right now. The fire started at 2:30 this morning. I talked to a neighbor who said her dog started barking and they woke up, and that's when they realized the house was in flames. Galen Garrett, a close neighbor, says her husband ran to the house trying to help, but noticed the door was completely on fire. He then ran to the house next door to wake them up because a tree nearby was in flames.
He was a very nice man. You know, I remember him from working in Winn-Dixie years ago, and he and my husband wait out here every morning when he take his grandkids to school.
Family members told me off camera 10-year-old Brian Perez and his grandfather, Tony Perez, were inside. Tony's granddaughter says he was a beloved father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and a great-great-grandfather. But to all of his family, he was known simply as Dad. Brian was also described as a boy full of life. He loved to read, he loved gaming, and he loved making videos for his YouTube channel. They were both members of Life Church. Reporting in Wichita Falls, Brenda Robledo, News Channel 6.
Thank you, Brenda. Family members believe the fire may have been caused by a space heater in the living room. No confirmation of that yet from the fire department. Meanwhile, another North Texas family is dealing with the grief of a deadly house fire also. 2 adults and 2 small children died in the Dallas suburb of Garland over the weekend. Firefighters quickly entered the house to rescue the victims, but they were unable to save them. Officials say there were 9 people in the house at the time of the fire. 5 were able to make it out, but 4 were unable to escape. According to officials, the fire started in an enclosed back patio. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. The Bowie Police Department says AT&T is having problems which is impacting local law enforcement offices. According to the department's Facebook page, they cannot receive landline calls or 911 calls. Officials say they have been told Montague County and others are being impacted as well. Bowie PD says they were not told how long it will take to get everything back up and running. Stay with News Channel 6 for the very latest. High winds and dry conditions can cause house fires to spread. Today and tomorrow, the threat of wildfires in Texoma is high in some areas. But the good news is there's a slight chance of rain this week. Let's check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Ken Johnson. Ken, it looks like tomorrow is our best shot for that rain.
Yeah, this week, and that best shot is not a very good shot, just a slight shot, as you were talking about a few minutes ago. Fire danger, again, pretty high tomorrow thanks to some strong winds blowing, especially in the afternoon out of the west, before they switch around to the northwest later on tomorrow night. We go down on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not too bad, maybe back up a little bit as we head towards the weekend. We've been dealing with a lot of wind, and these storm systems that have been impacting the area have come through dry and just bringing with it a lot of wind, and we're beginning to see some drought conditions pop back up. 75 degrees outside now, south winds at 20 miles per hour. Another mild evening, well above average on these temperatures, and we'll probably continue to see some more of these ups and downs with these temperatures over the course of the next couple of weeks. Some cooler weather is on the way, and we'll track those rain chances coming up.
Thanks for that update, Ken. Washington is back to work after the Thanksgiving break, and the sexual harassment scandals remain on the front burner. President Trump announced his decision on whether to campaign for an embattled Republican, and Democrat Al Franken finally broke his silence. Mola Langi has the latest from the White House.
Senator Al Franken returned to work with a message for his supporters and the people of Minnesota.
To all of you, I just want to again say I am sorry.
Franken said he's embarrassed and ashamed after allegations of sexual misconduct. The first accusations came from radio host Leanne Tweeden, who said Franken forcibly kissed her on a USO tour in 2006.
I recall that differently from Leanne, but I feel that you have to respect, women's experience.
Other women have accused Franken of groping them during photo shoots. Senator Franken spoke for about 6 minutes and said he takes full responsibility for his actions. He promised to regain the people's trust by getting back to work. Franken dismissed any suggestion of resigning, and so has Michigan Congressman John Conyers. But the 88-year-old Democrat is giving up a leadership position on the Judiciary Committee in the midst of a congressional probe into allegations of sexual harassment. Franken says he'll cooperate completely with any ethics investigation.
This has been a shock, and it's been extremely humbling.
The next question is whether the sexual misconduct allegations against Alabama Republican Roy Moore will stop him from reaching the Senate. A White House official says President Trump will not campaign on Moore's behalf leading up to the December 12th election. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Although the president says he will not endorse Roy Moore, it appears he has shown some support for the former judge by attacking his Democratic opponent, Doug Jones. The dispute continues over who is in charge of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. President Trump has given the acting director job to the budget director, Mick Mulvaney. Leandra English was announced by the outgoing director to temporarily lead the agency. She has filed a lawsuit claiming the position is legally hers. The Department of Justice has sided with the president. Acting Director Mulvaney says there will be a 30-day hiring freeze and there will be changes to regulations in the future. Just into the News Channel 6 newsroom, United States Congressman Beto O'Rourke has officially filed to run for U.S. Senate to represent the state of Texas and serve alongside Senator John Cornyn. The Democratic hopeful filed the paperwork as his family, friends, and campaign staff looked on. He will be challenging U.S. Senator Ted Cruz in next year's midterm election. Senator Cruz is currently in his first term. We'll have all your midterm election coverage, so stay with News Channel 6 for further updates. We have an update for you on renovation plans for a landmark in Nocona. Wichita Falls-based Trinity Hughes Construction has been picked up for the project, which will transform the Justin Boot building into a community event center. That's according to the Bowie newspaper. The former owner of the building on Clay Street donated it to the city a few years back, with the stipulation that it be turned into a community center. New tonight, a judge in Dallas has decided the bond for a Richardson woman charged in connection with the death of her 3-year-old adopted daughter should be lowered. It went from $250,000 to $100,000. The 35-year-old woman is currently behind bars facing child endangerment charges in connection with the death of little Sharon Matthews. The father, Wesley Matthews, admitted she choked on her milk and stopped breathing, and then he disposed of the body. Prosecutors worry the mother would potentially leave the country. There are many monuments that honor our nation's heroes, and sadly, many of them cannot afford to see them. How Chick-fil-A is hoping to change that just ahead. Plus, the Royals are about to add an American to their ranks. A look at the engagement that has the world talking is coming up on First at 5.
Another warm, windy evening across the area. Tomorrow looks like another breezy day, but this time there might be some small rain chances. Don't get excited. It won't be enough to get all of that wet. Not going to eliminate the dry conditions. It sure is getting dusty outside. I'll talk more about that dry weather and the weather pattern change that could be on the horizon coming up.
Closed captioning sponsored by Herb Easley Chevrolet.